Hey guys, how we doing? I'm making a quick short video for kind of my long-term viewers that have questions for me about my choice in equipment. I actually get like comments about stuff pretty regularly on, what's my opinion of equipment? Why do I like the T66 over the brands? Why did I sell the E20? Why did I sell the ASV RT25? And so I'm just going to make a quick video about that and just kind of explain my thought process and what matters most to me. All right, so we're going way back to the beginning when I started my business in like 2017 or 2018. It might have been 2019 when I bought this machine, but my first machine when I purchased it was a Ditch Witch SK350. One of my old bosses had one of these. I was very familiar with the machine. And it was a good machine as far as like getting work done for them. And so I purchased one and I used it for a few years until I blew a rod in it and had a bunch of fuel issues with it. And I'm not much of a mechanic, so I ended up upgrading this machine when the rod blew in it to the ASV RT25. Mostly because I was just tired of having repairs and maintenance. I'm gonna get to more on that in just a minute. I think that's what makes a machine, and I had a lot of troubles and issues with that one. So I upgraded to the ASV RT25, and it was still a mini skid. And at the time, I was more afraid of the payment being bigger, and I didn't have the cash money to go buy a trailer to haul a bigger skid. So I decided to go with something, one, that I could haul on a cheap trailer, and two, that was affordable in my price range. So I went to ASV RT25. It was a mini skid with a cab. It could move a decent amount of dirt, but really it only held like a wheelbarrow load of dirt at one time, and the machine was really long, and so I couldn't really pick up landscape materials and haul them around because it was too heavy. I couldn't really move a lot of dirt at one time. It was a little bit better than standing on a mini skid all day, but it all just depends on what your workspace is and all that kind of stuff. And to me, like, it was a good machine, but it still limited my production. So from there, I sold this ASV RT25 and bought a Bobcat T590. And I made one mistake in the trade-off for this. I bought a lot of attachments. And not that they were bad, I should have split my attachments and my equipment payment, so that way I financed the attachments separately and I financed the machine separately, so they weren't tied together. It actually made where I was borrowing like $75,000 as compared to, I could have been like 35 for the machine and 35 for the attachments. And so it would have been a little bit cleaner, a little bit better on how I bought and sold things after that point. My payment on the machine I have now would actually be a little less because of that, and I'll kind of explain that in a minute. But first, like, I bought all these attachments with the hopes of doing particular work with them. So I bought like this hydraulic sod roller attachment and a Bobcat vibratory roller to do two things: to lay sod and then compact it down so that way there wasn't humps, lumps, and bumps. And there was two issues. The roller paired with the Bobcat was super heavy, so when you rolled over sod and stuff, like the machine and the attachment were so heavy that it would rip the grass up if you had to turn. So it wasn't super efficient for that. And two, the hydraulic sod roller for those mega rolls only worked if you had plastic tubes. And our local area uses cardboard tubes, so you had to modify and use some steel to make that work. So it was still like running a non-hydraulic sod roller to do that. And so like all these great plans of things I was gonna make faster by having these tools was actually made slower because I couldn't, one, haul them all at one time because of weight and the trailer that I had, and two, because like there were limitations each of those ways I wanted to do that. Plus I bought a brush mower, which you couldn't lift in the air and cut trees or anything, or limbs or anything. You had to do everything on the ground, and if you raised it more than 6 or 8 inches off the ground, it would shut off. It was great for mowing fields. It had a nice cut. It was like, as a brush mower, it was really nice. But as like an efficient land clearing, mowing kind of thing, not really the best. For fields, yes. Small trees and stuff that you usually get in and out and under, yes. Anything that you had to work in between, raise your arm up and boom up, not so great. Now, the one thing I did purchase in that at one time was a grapple bucket. By far and away, the best attachment I've ever bought. It will always be worth its money. It'll be worth its weight in gold. If this one ever bends, breaks, or gets destroyed one way or another, I will buy another one because it is worth the money. Let's see, what else did I buy at the time? The roller, the grapple bucket, a regular bucket, forks. Of course, I have forks. They're still the same set of forks I have. A power rake. I bought a power rake. I forgot about that. I used that not that often. I used it out of the 3 years I owned it. I used it maybe like 6 times, maybe 10. It wasn't really like, oh, I have a power rake. Like, it's funny because like before I had one, everybody asked me if I would power rake. Like every customer I talked to, it's like, yeah, we'll just grade this out, smooth back, drag it, and be done. Well, are you gonna run a power rake over it? No. And I would lose jobs because I didn't have a power rake. Now, hindsight, that didn't really matter. Like, I could have just like stood my ground and be like, no, I can make a better finish than a power rake. Just run a hand rake and we'll be done. Like, it really doesn't make a huge difference. Like, unless the material is really soft, it doesn't make a huge difference. And so, like, I financed all these attachments and I financed that machine, and that's kind of where I really started to be like, I gotta change something. Something's not working here. I went from mini skid to full size skid, and something's just not working out here. And so I used to do a lot of like landscaping, like retaining walls, boulders, install for new grass, like sod, aerating, overseeding, like prepping spaces for new grass. Like, I used to do a lot of random things, a little bit of irrigation, a little bit of plants and tear outs and all that stuff, but nothing like solid. Everything is the same every single time. But like 3 years ago, a buddy of mine, I met him through YouTube. His name is Craig. And he saw my videos. Our local supplier shared one of my videos I made, and he saw me there, and they saw me at one of the supply yards one day, and he knocked on my window, and he was like, hey man, you know, I think I can help you out, and I think we can. I think actually it might have been 4 years ago now, maybe almost 5, but you know, he was like, offer me advice on how to grow my business and be a little more profitable and all that. And to be honest, and if he ever sees this video, I know he will at some point, he'll understand that I wanted to go about it my way. I was very thankful to have other people speak into my life. But I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. Like, I loved hardscapes, I love dirt work, I love construction in general, I love building things. But none of that really reflects into profitability. Like, just because you're out doing jobs doesn't always equate to profitability. Sometimes, most times, people are really good at one thing. And once they dial that skill in, they're going to make more money doing that than doing a large number of things. And so he kind of helped talk me out of the things I was doing and the way I was running my business at the time to be better. That was super helpful. And though I didn't always pay attention, and not that he was saying that I was bad at what I was doing, but there was better ways of doing things. I would take it personally sometimes and kind of be upset about it. But anyway, I say a lot to say is I have developed a relationship with this friend of mine, with Craig, and over the last 3 years, I have done primarily final grades for Craig. I operate and manage one customer of his that has like 3 to 5 days a week of work for one person, which is me. And so I have learned to do things his way. He's very, like, the man has taught me the skill that I have now. He definitely believes in doing things one way over another. I have a little bit different opinion, but overall, he has taught me the skill that I have to go in and do these time and time again and be quick and efficient at them and leave things the same way every single time. And so I ran the T590 for about a year and a half for him. And I got that machine to like 22 to 2,500 hours. I was having a fair amount of breakdowns because the machine was built in 2017 and it only had 680 hours on it till I bought it in 2021, and then I owned it for about another 2 years, and then I sold it. So anyway, now when I got that machine, and I was like, the repair cost so a new payment is going to be the same, I decided to upgrade to the T66. Now the reason I went with the T66 over other brands is I'm kind of Bobcat loyal because of two things. One, their dealer is within 15 minutes of my house, and I could go to there and get parts within the same day or within 1 day of shipping free. There are times that I've had to wait, and it's not the biggest deal, but I can also have a road tech if I want them to, and I've had this happen multiple times because I'd rather pay a higher bill and be back to work than to sit and wait for my machine at their shop. But I'll have them come and do service. I will have them come and work on my machine if something fails and breaks. That's why I like Bobcat. It's literally a simplicity thing to me. Now there are other reasons why I don't like other machines, because I have rented other machines and I have tried other machines, but I'm not entirely like set on them. So like I drove the Cat, I don't remember the numbers, here's a picture of it. But I drove that machine, it's comparative to my machine, and I just felt it was a lot more tippy than mine. And not that that's everything in the world, but if you're gonna pay $90,000 for a machine, you want it to be what you expect. I expect to hold hills, I expect to be able to go and do what I want to do without, really like hold myself in the seat because the thing is super tippy. It was noisier. I ran that thing for about a week and it was noisier, more rattly. It did have about 1,500 hours on it. We really, I don't know, it just didn't seem, apples to apples, my machine seemed way better. I also rented a Kubota probably back in 2016. I didn't like the way the arm flip-up things were. I didn't like the configuration of the cab. And to me, the whole roll-up door on both the Takeuchi and the Kubota, I don't even care. Like, I get in and out of my machine a lot. Like, I will get in and out of the machine just to unload and load the machine probably 3 to 5 times a day, plus to pick up trash, plus to do, like, I'm in and out of the machine all the time. Not one time have I ever been like, man, I really wish there was a roll-up door because it would be faster. Not one time. Because you know what I like? I like having a clean cab. And one thing that Bobcat in general has over other brands is the dust mitigation is way better than other brands. And I don't know why that is. I don't know the research behind that. I just know that if I keep something in my machine, dust will get in there, yeah. But if I like clean and maintain my surfaces, the dirt and dust does not build up very quickly in that machine. I'll show you right now that I probably have not washed this machine in 150 hours. Like inside or outside. I probably have not washed the machine in 150 hours. Let me show you what it looks like right now. All right, so it's mid-January right now. I haven't washed the machine since the beginning of December. We've had a little bit of rain, and I haven't washed the machine in 150 hours or so. And this is what the outside looks like. Not terrible. Like with a quick wash, this is like pretty clean. And then here's the inside. Haven't touched the inside, but you can tell there's not a lot of dust in this machine at all. Here's the floorboards. Part of that is I use these steps on my buckets, and there I will wipe all the dirt off my feet before I give, not all the dirt, but I'll get those big chunks off of there. So, but even like, look, this is my little phone holder I put on. There's not dust sitting on there. There's not dust on my tape measure, on all my ledges. Like this machine keeps pretty clean. I think the biggest issue with other guys that want those roll-up doors, they don't care about the inside. And I just say that from experience, like being around them, their machines are filthy. And because they leave the door open or they run the machine with the door open and then try to close it. But guess what's in your filters now? Your cab filters, dust and dirt. So I don't know. I think you trade cleanliness for a roll-up door in reality. The way the door opens does not matter to me. And people are like, well, you can't get out if you get stuck in the machine. That's why you break out the back window, dude. Or you can take the hinges off the door and get the door open. I've done that several times. I had a track pop off one time on my T590, and I had the bucket down in the ground, forcing the machine up. But over time, it sagged down. The door was kind of stuck closed, but it wasn't hard to get off. I was able to open the door enough where I could open the hinges and latches, the emergency ones, and pop the door off. It wasn't a big deal. So Kubota's out for that reason, Tak's out for that reason, and another reason for both of those machines are a little bit taller, so they're like weight distribution, is a little bit more tippy than the T66 back there. And what matters to me is like when people are like, oh, this machine is far better. Like, I will put that little machine anywhere I want to. Like, ASV used to be the same way. My little ASV RT25 was the same way. I could climb anything. I could go anywhere. I never worried about if that machine could do it or not. Like, it was always capable. I rented a tack for a week and I hated it. Like, I was going down really not here. Here's a video. Here's a video. I can do that all day, every day with my T66 without a tipping. And that thing, I didn't have a seatbelt on, and I wasn't expecting that because I can do that in my machine, and it almost threw me out. And yes, some of this just operator. I guess if you got used to it, it wouldn't be a big deal, but I don't know. I'm on slopes so often that it's a non-negotiable for me. Like, the machine has to be balanced, and the machine has to go where I want it to and do what I ask it to do. And one thing that I have traded for stability is traction. I have put on like more of a grading style track on the machine. I went from the C-lugs to this straight bar pattern. And one thing I've noticed is I can't hold hills quite as much because there's nothing to hold the machine from sliding because it's those grooves. You can slide down the hill super easy. But on my normal everyday traction for grading and back drag and all that, I feel like these tracks are still better than the C-lugs because I don't know. I don't know why. I notice a difference in my actual grading and trying to back drag everything. The finish is a little bit nicer. My push power into a pile is a little better, but with that advantage, I lose the advantage of holding slopes a little bit better. So I've kind of given in trade on that purely by the shoes that my machine is wearing. But other than that, I can ask that T66 to go anywhere and it will. Here's some pictures of what that looks like. So this T66 just by far and away fits me because of my dealer is close. There are 2 dealers in my local area. I can get parts, service, and everything that I need to keep this machine running fairly quickly, and I have a reputation with that dealer. The nearest cat dealer is about 15 minutes away from me as well. The nearest John Deere dealer is about 15 minutes away from me, so they're comparable. I just don't like those machines. I drove that cat, and it was way more rattly, way more bumpy, and way more tippy. Like, my legs hurt from holding myself in the seat because the machine was just so much like this. Like, you'd be going over bumps. Like, I was literally holding myself in the seat the whole day. Unlike that machine, I have a smooth ride, and I have a fixed frame. And I have a way smoother ride in that machine. And so, I don't know. It's purely operator experience on my part that machine fits me the best. Let me backtrack a little bit. I did get in a little bit of hot water in trade-in when I traded into this machine. I had to roll over about 15 grand because of how I financed my attachments in my other skid. And so the price went from 85,000 to 95,000, or whatever that number works out, 80,000 to 95,000 plus interest. And like, all that being said, it's just like, this T66 by far and away it fits me best because I have serviceability, good dealer support, parts and service, and I can just easily, like, their financing is good. I can easily go get another one if I need to. They'll work with me. Like, just overall, the brand is good as far as I haven't had too many breakdowns. There are things that are covered under warranty, and it's just, I don't know, I've had an incredibly good experience with it, and I'll continue to use them until that dries up, or there's another brand that can offer me the things that I have. Cup holder, Bluetooth, stability, and less noise. And if a company can offer me that in a machine, I'll consider it. But for now, I'm going to go with the T66 because it just offers all those things for me. It checks all my boxes. As an operator, I have what I need. So that kind of refers backwards to why I got rid of other machines. The only reason I didn't go with an ASV is because there is not a dealer close to me. The nearest dealer is 2 hours away from me, one down, or an hour and a half at least. One in Charlotte and one down in Columbia. And that's all fine and good, and they're close, but I can't get parts. I can't take it to their shop and have it repaired if I have any failures. I have to either do it myself or find a mechanic that can. So I love the way the ASVs look. I love their performance and ability, but I don't love their dealer support near me. Now, what really started that train of thought for me is one, Stan Genetic, the Dirt Monkey. You know, he talks about that a good bit over the years. And the second being, when I had my Ditch Witch SK350, the only reason I did not consider just repairing that machine and moving forward is I'm not much of a mechanic. I'll be honest. I like running the equipment, not a mechanic, and I'll pay somebody to do that stuff. I've got no problem with that. But when I had that Ditch Witch, I was forced to do a lot of the work myself. And so I tried repairing cylinders. They leaked. I just had to buy new ones, put new ones on. Fuel system. I had fuel system issues like nobody's business with that little machine. I had throttle issues with that machine. I had so much. So when I finally blew the rod out of it, probably because it got too hot in there. Anyway, whatever it looks like, the only reason I decided not to go with that machine is because my local dealer in my area was so bad, still is, so bad that I called for a demo for a 1550. They called me 2 months later after I'd already bought a machine. They're like, hey, we heard you wanted a demo. I'm like, yeah, 2 months ago. Well, I'm sorry that we didn't even get back to you before now. I'm like, you could have called me and said, hey, we're 2 months out if you want, or 3 months out if you want a demo. But no, you guys didn't email me, you didn't call me. Getting parts was the same way. If I tried to get parts from our dealership in Simpsonville, I couldn't get parts for like a week. Their service manager was like, well, I have to write the part numbers down, and I'll have to refer to your machine and serial number, and I'll have to give you a call to make sure we have the right parts, and then we'll get you the parts. I would call Charlotte. They would overnight them to me and have them to me the next day. Oh, it was ridiculous. I did not like that machine at all. So serviceability on Ditch Witch was out, and I think that makes every single machine. Bobcat, by far and away, has always had my machine up and running within 1 to 3 weeks. Anyhow, I think that's what makes a machine for me. That's what's going to brought me to what I have now. And it's kind of a long video, and I know some of you older viewers are probably still here because you're curious and all that. I've had excavators too. I sold the E20 because I was making way for the T66. I used it all the time. I had a really cool relationship with Rhinex Group. They brought me a quick change system and everything. Like, they were an awesome company to be a part of. But literally my business changed overnight. I started doing full-time grading and for Craig, and it just went from like, hey, I'm using this all the time, to it sitting there for 6 months. And I was like, well, I don't want to be paying $600 on a machine that I'm never using, nor do I want to go find work for it to do to pay for itself. I'd rather be going doing this other work. And so I sold that machine to make way so that I could pay for the T66. Also, I had some other projects I wanted to finish up, and I did that. So that's why I got rid of the excavator. And then this past year in 2025, I bought a Bobcat E42 used with 100 hours on it. I put like 150 hours on it. Same thing. I had storm cleanup work, and I did a bunch of that. It was a perfect machine for that. Got to do some site work, got to do some culverts and stuff. I didn't film everything well, but I did use that machine a lot, and now it's been sitting for 6 months. And for 2026, it looks like I'm probably going to sell it because I'm going to be going 5 days a week grading for another company, and I think I'd rather let go of that machine again. And if I ever have a huge need for an excavator, I'll just rent one, because Though the payment is reasonable, I'd actually really like to upgrade this truck for the same cost I'm paying for an excavator. I can have a nicer truck that suits me a little better than this thing. This is a Dodge 5500, and it's got one of these holler body chassis on it. It's a cabin chassis, and no one put a bed on it. They just, you know, used it for hot shotting and whatever. And so it's too long. I don't need a 4-door. I don't need a 12-foot bed. So I'm looking at upgrading, selling the excavator here in 2026 and getting like a single cab 4-door at 450. They got a reasonable price on those right now, and so you can get the high output 4-wheel drive, which this truck doesn't have, just kind of the goodies that I like, and for the same cost, like literally the same cost that my business is operating at right now and can't afford, I can do and just go out and do what I'm doing right now. So the grading for this other business is highly profitable for me. I make the most money doing that, and so I'm just gonna go out and do that because I did 3 days a week for myself this year and 3 days a week for them. And by far and away, I made more money with them. I did make good chunks of money with the excavator. I did do some great projects with it, but there was a lot of time moving equipment. There was a lot of time finding those jobs for that equipment. And there was a lot of time, pretty much every job I quoted with the excavator went over by about 10 hours. So, and not all of those were payable. I wasn't able to get that out of the customer. And so that's kind of a management thing on my part. I could have charged them more. I could have made more money. But like, I know the ins and outs of the grading, the final grade so much better that like I'll make more money, and I'm so much faster than I used to be. Even like where I was 3 years ago. 3 years ago, I could barely handle 2 houses a day myself. Now on a good 14-hour day, if I put those hours in, I can get 5. Like if it's a good day, if there's not too much trash, and there's a crew with me for at least one house, I can get that much. That is a huge amount of work done in a day. And I can, because I'm faster at what I do, I have a little bit of room to add a little bit extra time to the houses I have because it still falls within their budget. So pretty cool. I get to make a little bit more money, spend time out, have a little more money in my pocket for the work I'm doing. And so I'm going to focus on that for at least another year or two, and have real cash flow before I decide to go somewhere else. And what I want to do next, and this is pushing forward into probably it's probably a 5-year goal in reality. What I want is some of the side work I do right now. I love the big like building pads and moving a bunch like volumes of dirt, but I don't want huge equipment. What I really want is like a Case DL 550 with a dozer blade and a bucket. And like, to me, because it can just push so much more volume dirt than I can with my machine right now, but still fit in a lot of tight sites, it'd be a perfect machine for me. But I think I really want to stay away from too much land clearing. I did a lot of storm cleanup because it was all on the ground. Like I really didn't have to do too much. There was one property I had to pull a bunch of trees that were stuck down on other trees, but nothing was super risky. I only took the jobs because they were reasonable and I could do. But for the most part, they were all on the ground or mostly on the ground and super simple to do. But I really don't want to push that work because it takes a lot of time. You have to haul the material off. You have to have costs of a dump truck and hauling and just the time to cut everything up and all that, or have employees. And I don't really want that. I like grading. I love doing the same thing over and over again. It's filmable. It looks nice. It's satisfying. So I think I'm going to do that for the next couple of years. And then we'll try to push mostly just dirt stuff and try to get a little bit bigger machine. I mean, I'd love to have like a Cat 953 or something like that, but I don't know, it's not super necessary around here either. Like a good sized skid loader would do almost, unless you're doing tree stuff, a good sized skid loader will do that stuff with a little bit less time, or a little bit more time, but less impact to the area around it. So I don't know. We'll see what time has for me, but that's my opinion on why I bought and sold things. And it's kind of long and drawn out, but those of you that want to listen, thank you for hanging out. Appreciate it. Well, right now I'm going to pick up my excavator, put it on this trailer, and I think I'm gonna list it for sale because it is time to move on to the next thing.